Committee's Licensing Subcommittee, where we are considering objections from Environmental Health to a proposed 10 for the Pig and Whistle Public House, 92 to 94 Bramley Road, W10 6UG. I'm Councillor Burns, and I will be chairing this meeting. It is held via Microsoft Teams and is also being streamed live. I confirm I have no declarations to make in relation to this item. I'm joined by Councillor Knight and Councillor Nur. Councillors, can you please introduce yourselves and confirm whether or not you have any declarations to make?
Sure. I am Councillor Lucy Knight, and I have no declarations to make. Thank you.
Yeah, hello, I'm Councillor Nur, and I have no declaration to make. Thank you.
Thank you. We are also joined remotely by Paul Felon from the Council's licensing team, our legal advisor, Heidi Titcombe and Georgia Hoydeburg, our committee officers, Nimka Mahudin, Daniel Helle and Tom Hanmer, who will be monitoring our connections and help with any technical issues we may have. Ground rules. Before we start the hearing, there are a few ground rules. Please keep your microphones on mute until you're invited to speak. Please make sure mobile phones are also on silent. Please keep your cameras off unless you are speaking to avoid connection problems. Please note that Microsoft Teams chat function is not monitored, so please do not use it. As it is a public meeting, please ensure your microphones are on mute. Everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect if you lose connection. Thank you. Parties in attendance. Nimka Mahudin, can you please run through the list of persons wishing to speak today? Nimka?
Sorry, my mic was down. For today's hearing, we have Anne Mayer, Melissa Mayer, and we have Philip Richardson from Noise and Nuisance.
Okay, thank you. Election of a substitute chair. The quorum of this committee is 2. As there's always a possibility that I may lose connection temporarily during the broadcast, I am nominating Councillor Knight to be appointed as the substitute chair. Councillor Nur, please confirm whether you second this nomination.
I'm happy to second the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I confirm that Councillor Knight has been appointed substitute chair. Okay, procedure. The procedure of the meeting has been circulated with the papers. However, in summary, I confirm the licensing officer will give a brief outline of the application. Secondly, I will ask the applicant to present her submission. She will have up to 10 minutes to do so. Then questions may be asked of the applicant by members of the committee, the police, environmental health, and our legal advisor. Next, environmental health will present their objection. Mr. Richardson will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Then questions will be asked of the environmental health by members of the committee, the applicant, and our legal advisor. Then finally, we will turn to the governance team to see if any issues have been raised that we need to consider. There will be no summing up, and the committee will then adjourn for a short time to make our decision. We will reconvene to announce the decision today, and it will be confirmed within 5 working days. The full reasoned decision will be issued as soon as possible thereafter. I would like to remind everyone that the committee has read the papers which comprise of the main pack, so there is no need to repeat their content, but please do draw attention to certain points and pages, and governance will move the document on the screen for us. Let's get going. Mr. Felon, please could you outline the matter for us?
Sorry, apologies, Chair. My button was stuck there. Chair, members of the subcommittee, good morning. The subcommittee is asked to consider objections to a temporary event notice submitted by Miss Anne Mayer for the Pig and Whistle 92 to 94 Bamley Road, London, W10 6UG. The 10 seeks permission for the sale by retail of alcohol on and off the premises and the provision of regulated entertainment. Miss Mayer is proposing to use the beer garden of the premises and to provide a bar and to play live music during Notting Hill Carnival. Ms Maher initially sought these activities between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. on the 24th and 25th of August 2025. This 10 has since been amended and now seeks these activities between midday and 7 p.m. on each day. The premises currently benefits from a premises licence which permits sales of alcohol on and off, late night refreshment indoors, recorded music indoors, live music indoors, and regulated entertainment for private use indoors. A list of the permitted activities and timings is provided at page 6 of the report. The temporary event notice submitted by Ms Maher has attracted a representation from Mr Philip Richardson on behalf of the Environmental Health, Noise and Nuisance team. Mr Richardson has submitted an objection on the grounds of the prevention of public nuisance and public safety. A summary of Mr Richardson's representation is provided at page 7, with a full copy of the representation attached at Appendix C. The following additional documents were circulated ahead of today's hearing. An amended 10 which supersedes Appendix A of the report. This document clarifies the amended hours for licensable activities, and a series of files shared via RBKC Noise and Nuisance to support their objection. You will now hear from the applicant and Mr Richardson. I'm happy to provide any further clarification as required. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, now for the applicant's case. Ms Maher, please can you present your submission and advise if there's been any additional documentation sent to the council? Please feel free to turn your camera on if you wish. You have 10 minutes to do so. Thank you.
Hi. Basically, I'm a bit upset about it because the whole area has noise that day, from on the middle of the road to the side streets to everywhere, and it's just for entertainment in the garden. Last year we didn't get it either, and we didn't have many customers. But I was just, as I said, we'll comply with everything. We'll have doormen. I just don't, I don't understand why it's being objected to for those hours. That's all I have to say on it, really.
Madam Chair, can I just ask the applicant, have they seen the additional papers from Environmental Health which were served?
Yes.
Right, and you may want to comment on you might have some comments on those, so please feel free to do so.
Yeah, we had a noise nuisance call last Saturday. Apparently a resident complained, and we had a TENS notice on the property. The noise nuisance phoned the property at 10:30 and asked to turn down the music, which the staff did. The reason that it probably was echoing more that night was because it was such a warm night last Saturday night that a lot of people were out in the garden. It was too warm in the pub, so there was nobody to take the volume. Wasn't many customers inside in the pub. Also, there was another incident on there about something that happened outside the property on the 13th, and that also was dealt with. It was a customer that was being awkward, asked to leave. And we asked family members of his to go out and ask him to stop shouting, which carried on for approximately 5 minutes, and they removed him. So, it's not the pub. We're dealing with everything our end. So that's it, really.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I have now questions from the committee. Councillor Knight first.
Are we doing to the applicant or to the...
To the applicant.
To the applicant. Thank you, Laura. Just going to get my notes up. Can you just start possibly by clarifying why initially you got the difference in the hours wrong that you initially applied for? So initially you applied for, I think it was 12, is it 12 till 8 or 12? Is that correct? And then it was changed to the 12 till 7.
We weren't sure of what the hours were going to be this year because last year they were different also. So we just said we'd apply for them times and see. And then when we were asked to go back, we said yes, we'd go back with them hours.
Okay. And then just given that there are have been noise complaints that continue, and there's a known sensitivity with that.
There's one nice complaint. Since
I'm just saying, yeah.
We've done everything our end, from soundproofing to music levels. You know, as a pub, there's not much more we can do. We're only asking the Notting Hill Carnival for outdoor, and that would be it. We wouldn't be doing any outdoor, given that time of year that it is, and there is lots of people in the area.
Yeah. But I think given that the review, one of the things that the review recently in April said was about having music in the garden. How can you put the council at ease and the objector at ease in terms of what you're asking for Carnival?
There's, like I said, the whole area, which really annoyed me from last year, the whole area is full of noise. They have their own speakers on side streets, there's everything. So anything from the back of the Pig and Whistle is not affecting anyone. And a lot of our local residents on Bletchton Street go away for that time, and I know that from two of them. We've never had any problems from anyone in Bramley House complaining over the years. I've been working the carnival since 1996 every year, and we've never had any incidents or anything like that. We've had music twice, which one person just is continually complaining.
Okay. And then my last question is just on the sound monitoring that I think has been installed by RBKC, and just how you'll be working with them and noise and the nuisance team to ensure that they're happy if the license and I guess with the garden music.
Basically, they won't be it's their own speakers, so they won't be connected to or they can connect to it. Can they? Sorry, I'm asking the speaker. She said it can be connected to the speakers inside. So okay. I'm not sure how all that works. I'm not very technical, but Melissa said she spoke to the guy that was planning on doing it, and he said he can connect up. Everything has limiter inside for the garden, for the inside, top bar, bottom bar. So sure, that worked well.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's good for me at the moment, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Noor, any questions?
Thank you, Chair. I've got two questions. The first one is the applicant. I mean, you expected to have around 150 individuals on each day. I mean, can you tell us what do you have in place in terms of ensuring the public safety? Whether you be using security guards, trained staff. Can you explain, please, how do you manage?
We have 5 to 6 staff on, which 3 will be in the garden area, and we'll have doormen, 2 at the back and 2 at the front, and only 1 entrance in and 1 to leave the beer garden gates. So they'll be opened, and it'll be a ticket-only event. So only people that have bought tickets will come in.
Okay. I mean, this is one of event where you've been running this business for quite a long time.
Yes.
And there has been a number of complaints, and there have been also some restrictions put on your business. I mean, how will you give us confidence in this application? You will run a safe event.
Well, as I said, it's mainly one person that's been complaining in the last year. But after that, I can't guarantee that he won't complain. But I just have to wait. But regarding safety and all that, we're totally on it.
But that's helpful. But I know some people will go away during the carnival. Some people will not go. You got Bromley House next to you, just opposite the car park. and live music playing in the car park, definitely it will disturb families. So how will you ensure that would not happen?
By the limiter.
Say that again?
The limiter that's been placed in the business, it'll be adjusted in line with that. It only goes up as far as, sorry, I'm just checking with my sister.
Level 10.
A level 10 is the highest we can go.
Okay.
And that's on the beer garden. The speakers out the back. As I said, they're in 3 different areas.
And the reason I'm asking is because even though you are not on the direct footprint of the carnival, you are very close to it. And beer will be coming to your pub and leaving.
Yeah.
So there is concern on public safety in terms of, you know, those movements from your building to the main road. So it will help if you have some measures apart from having, you know, the doorman and people supervising.
Hi, it's Melissa. The side road to the pub where the garden leads out to is always closed for carnival as the police stand there.
Okay.
So letting people out is not public safety because there is no cars coming down. It's just an exit only, not an entrance. So the crowd will only be going one way, and that's back onto Latimer Road to join the carnival or wherever they're going.
Back to the station.
All right, thank you. Chair, that's my question so far.
Okay, thank you. So I have a couple of questions. Actually, can we get the page 30 or 31 up on the screen, if possible? Is that possible? Page 31. Yes. So can you just, looking at the map, can you just give me an understanding? So how people get in and out, and if it's ticketed, where do you check these tickets? How are you going to be checking them so you don't get any people without tickets?
So the front door, there'll be 2 security there. Also, the guy that's doing the music, he has at least 5 to 6 people with him who will be validating his ticket only coming in. And the entrance is in the beer garden. I don't know. It says car park on the map, but it's not a car park. It's a beer garden. It was a car park years ago. So there is no car park there now. Right. And then the exit onto Bridgeton Street, which is always closed for carnival.
And so it's one way through. So you go in through the front door and you have to come out.
Leave the back door. Leave at the side gate onto the Bridgeton Street through the garden, yeah.
And is there any re-entries? So if someone leaves, can they come back?
No, because we have a door count.
Okay.
They have a bus.
So
they mark how many's gone and how many's coming in. So, and they liaise with each other.
Okay. Right, and so there's no re-entry. So if someone goes out the back entrance, they won't be allowed. They won't be permitted to come.
No, they can't come in.
All right, and you expect there to be 150 people at one time, or is that throughout the day? Or
staggered? Yeah, it won't be all
Not
at once.
No.
Sorry.
It won't be all at once. It'll be staggered. The last time we did it, the year before last, they were coming and going. That's kind of the way, because they head up towards Ladbroke Grove to stay for a while and then they move on, or they go back to Latimer Road Station.
Okay, and then so are you expecting to have live music out there as well?
It's just,
I know there's
DJ.
Or is it just going to be a DJ? Okay, cool. And there is a bar as well, and in the picture there was a bar, right? So you'll be set outside, separate to inside.
Yeah, that just takes the pressure off the inside of the bar.
Okay, and how many bar staff will you have at that point?
There'll be 3 at the back and there'll be 3 inside. And the guy that's promoting it, he'll have 5 to 6 of his own people that are there to help us. And I have
Okay.
4.
And just for clarity, one more time, in the beer garden and including the exit, how many security are you going to have there?
2 at the garden, 2 at the front door entrance. There's only one.
Sorry.
At the front door, you'll have 2 people standing, and at the back gate, 2 people.
Do you have any people floating around the beer garden to make
Yes.
sure that they?
Yes.
Yeah. How many?
The staff
security?
members normally inside is not that busy, so they'll all be moving, and whoever's working inside in the outside bar area will be monitoring, because you can see everything from that area where it is in the corner. You can see the whole place, because the benches and stuff are taken out. There's no one. There's only going to be 2 lines of seating that's around the back area, and there's no benches in there at all, and it's plastic only.
Okay. And then just sort of touching on a point that I think one of the other councillors made, you were called in for a review, which does raise concern about actually managing this quite a large amount of people on a very busy time of year outside. How can you satisfy us that that is going to be doable for you?
The event we had 2 years ago for outside, there was no arguments, no issues, no issues with public safety. The doormen were great. The DJ today on the day was great, and the people with him. We had absolutely no problems, and even with the flow of people coming and going all day, everyone was happy coming, everyone was happy leaving. There was absolutely nothing. It was actually a really great day for everyone.
And over all the years with the music inside,
there's never been any issues.
Okay, all right. That's all the questions I have for now. But is there any questions from our legal officer?
Madam Chairman, can I just ask, how many people will be in the pub?
We'll have up to, I'd say, a maximum between inside and out 200. But as I said, that won't be at one time. This will be coming and going. That would be the maximum. If we hit that, there's not another person coming in the door.
Okay, fine. And what type of music is being played?
It's no,
A bit
R&B.
like R&B or dance, up to date kind of music. So dance music.
Okay, and is it a promoter who's going to run the outside area?
He has done a few events, yes.
No, for this proposed event, is it going to be a promoter?
Yes.
He's selling tickets online, and not selling, but he's got tickets online, so he knows how many people are coming.
So how do we? So he just sells all the tickets online, does he?
Yeah, he knows he can only sell that amount of tickets. As I said, for us, a lot of our regulars are not around that particular weekend. You know, the pub is, we could have 5 or 6 of our own regular customers. It's only passing trade. But year before last, when we did it, was mainly the people that he'd sold to that came in.
Okay. So I'm just wondering, why couldn't this promoter run the event inside the pub?
Because we have very low ceilings. And it's just too warm. That amount you couldn't. Last year, when we tried it inside, people just left. They wanted the garden. It's changed now with the, as I said, a new music system, everything since. So.
Okay. Just in terms of complaints, the committee have to decide whether this event will undermine the licensing objectives, i.e. that includes public nuisance and public safety. So if there's a concern about noise causing a problem, and as you've said, you know, there will be noise because it will be in an open area. That's why this matter has been brought to the committee, because if there is public nuisance, then that's not something that should be permitted, and that's why they're considering it today. But they have to weigh up all the facts. But I'm just letting you know that's why it is before the committee today. I didn't have any other questions, Madam Chair. I don't know if Philip Richardson's got any questions.
Yes, I've got two questions. I'm just wondering, is the chair frozen?
No.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, your video was frozen on my screen. I've just got two questions. Can the applicants confirm when the noise limiter was installed, and is it currently in use?
Yes.
Okay,
It's been installed since before our review hearing was done.
Okay.
in around that time.
Yeah.
And Keith and the guy that put the music system in were there to monitor it.
Okay, I'll come back to that point a little later. And also, do you know the name of the person who's the promoter or the DJ who's going to be?
Jake Power.
Jake Power.
Yeah.
Okie doke. That is all my questions for now.
Okay, thank you. So now for noise and nuisance objection. Mr. Richardson, please can you present your submission? Please turn your camera on if you wish. You have 10 minutes to do so. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. This will take a little bit longer than my previous hearing submission. As poor Mr. Phelan's already said, the applicants have submitted a temporary event notice for the Pig and Whistle Public House in respect of the dates of 24th and 25th of August for the Carnival weekend. The temporary event notice originally sought authorisation for live music between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m, which was amended to 12 to 7 p.m, and to utilise the garden bar area for the sale of alcohol, both on and off the premises, and also to provide regulated entertainment within the garden. The noise and nuisance team have had significant history of involvement with the premises, having received numerous complaints from local residents regarding loud music, amplified voices emanating from the site. Going back a little bit into history, so the 13th of February 2024, following a statutory nuisance investigation prompted by complaints from local residents, an abatement notice was served on the operators in respect of amplified music and noise emanating from the premises, causing disturbance within a neighbouring residential property. A copy of that notice was circulated yesterday for reference. In response to ongoing concerns, a local resident submitted a review of the premises licence initiated pursuant to the undermining of the licensing objectives of public safety and the prevention of public nuisance. The review was heard on the 17th of April 2025, and I believe the full reasoned decision was circulated yesterday, and that should have also been in my additional documents. Notwithstanding the above, complaints persisted. On the 25th of May 2024, officers from the Noise and Nuisance Service attended a neighbouring property following a complaint and observed loud amplified music being emitted from the premises. The level of disturbance was deemed unreasonable and excessive, constituting a statutory nuisance and in breach of the aforementioned abatement notice. Consequently, a fixed penalty notice was served on the 28th of May 2024, affording the operators the opportunity to discharge their liability for this offence. A copy of that FPN was circulated yesterday in my additional documents. I have also heard this morning I understand that FPN was actually paid as well. Similarly, on the 13th of December 2024, following another complaint, officers again observed loud amplified music from the premises, which was found to be in breach of the abatement notice and constituting a statutory nuisance. A further FPN was served on the 19th of December 2024, and our records show that hasn't been paid. Subsequent to the issuance of the two FPNs, sound insulation works were undertaken at the premises, specifically targeting the party wall separating the premises from the adjacent residential property. Additionally, modifications to the internal speaker system have been implemented. Admittedly, this is at great expense to the applicants. Efforts were made to engage with the applicant to render this current application acceptable for the carnival period. Event management plans and risk assessments were submitted but found to be inadequate. On the 16th of June 2025 via email, it was communicated to the applicants that greater assurance would be required, including limited music to internal areas only, and subsequently a more detailed risk assessment and event management plans were provided. However, the applicants maintained their position that existing controls were sufficient to prevent disappropriate disturbance. On the 21st of June 2025, at 19:40 hours, officers responded to a complaint and witnessed loud amplified music emanating from the premises. This disturbance was deemed excessive and unreasonable, constituting a further statutory nuisance and in breach of the abatement notice dated 13th of February 2024. Accordingly, a prosecution report has been prepared and will be submitted to the Council's Directors of Environmental Health and Legal Services for consideration of whether legal proceedings should be initiated in the Magistrates' Court for breach of the abatement notice. In light of the foregoing, the Environmental Health Department lacks confidence in the management's ability to operate the premises, whether externally or internally, in accordance with the terms of this application, without undermining the licensing objectives and causing a nuisance to local residents. In this department's position, the application ought to be refused. And also, just to clarify a couple of points, I know the applicants mentioned one resident was the main complainant, but the breach that was witnessed on the 21st of this month was actually from a different resident. Obviously, we can't name who, but it wasn't from who the applicants believe it would be from. And also, this breach has occurred after the noise limiter has apparently been installed. So whether or not that limiter has been bypassed, changed, or just isn't working, we can't confirm, but a breach of the notice has been witnessed since that was installed. I've got nothing else to add.
Okay, thank you. So now any questions? Ms. Maher, there will be time for you to ask questions. We'll just do councillors first. I don't know if you were trying to ask a question, but just one moment. You'll be sort of, yeah. So firstly, let's start with Councillor Knight.
Hi. Hi, Philip. I just want to talk to you a bit more about the RBKC sound monitoring system you've installed and how, I know I've asked the applicant that, but just how that works and whether that provides you with any ease in terms of if the license went ahead, that could keep noise to a good level and yeah, just to understand how that works if there is outside entertainment or music going on, that is via the system you've installed, or?
Yeah, so clarify, the system, the noise limiter was installed by the applicants, not by us.
Okay.
Obviously, we recommended it. It is theirs. It's set at a level that was set at a level in conjunction with my colleague who's now retired. But ultimately, that it is their license and their level. So if they wanted to set a level that we didn't necessarily agree with, we believed it was too loud, then that's up to the applicants. Just bringing back to the point of the 21st of July, the applicants confirmed earlier that the limiter was installed in January. Yeah, have had complaints since January, and we did witness a nuisance this weekend on the 21st, last weekend, when the limiter was supposed to be being used. So to say confidence on whether or not they can operate internally and externally, at the moment I would say no, because the noise levels within the pub are causing a nuisance, and that's without speakers out externally. And yes, granted, Carnival is noisy. It is a noisy time, and as Councillor Ners mentioned earlier, this pub isn't on the Carnival footprint. It's off the footprint. It's close to the footprint, but it is in an area that is nowhere near as loud as Power Square, Portobello Road, Ladbroke Road. It is a lot quieter there, and there are a lot of residents still there who do not move out as such.
Yeah. And is there any measure that would, or route forward, that would give you any ease or sort of restriction that could help if this did go ahead?
I previously recommended to the applicants to have the music internally only, which, as per what I said just before, they didn't want to do or don't want to do. This think they can manage the levels externally, but like I said before, we've just witnessed a nuisance based on levels internally, so I can't see how they can manage that.
Okay, thank you. That's it from me for now. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Nair.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I mean, my question is to the environmental health is looking at back on the history of this premises and the operator. Even before we go into the carnival, there's a history of not following the licensing objectives. So am I right to assume we're hearing that, you know, you lack the confidence this event will not go smoothly without disturbing the resident close to the property?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Chair. I have no further questions.
Okay. Just trying to think if I have any questions. I think they've been covered. I think that's it for me actually as well. Okay, so now any questions from our legal officer first?
No questions from me, Madam Chair.
Okay, and now any questions from Miss Maher?
Yeah, sorry, just to clarify, our noise limiters were only actually properly set up where they attended the local residents' property on the week that Mr. Mahaffey retired in April. That was approximately a week after the hearing. They got to the property and went in and they tried to set it. They went back up a second time and they weren't allowed into the property. So the levels that they set that night with Keith Mahaffey and the guy that installed it all, who Keith Mahaffey recommended, that's why I went with him, and we went for the latest stuff. We've done everything right our end, so I don't understand why it's not working myself, why there's still complaints. And even Saturday evening was really warm there. We had the doors closed as you walk in, like you have the front door open and then the internal door closed over, so music wasn't travelling out. It was a 40th birthday party and most of the people were in the garden. As I said, the pub was empty. Now, as far as I'm aware, since the limiter has gone in, there's only been that one noise complaint. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That's all I'm aware of.
We have music every weekend.
And we have music twice a week, every week, and once a month on a Sunday.
I haven't got the exact details in front of me, but I can get them if needed, because it's not actually the complaint itself is not a complaint that is one of mine that I deal with, but I am aware that we have had complaints throughout the whole period, but they haven't necessarily been witnessed as a nuisance, so that we wouldn't necessarily inform the operators at that point, because obviously we wouldn't inform someone every time they have a complaint, because unless we can sort of substantiate it as a problem, we can't prove that there's anything gone wrong. So there have been complaints, and if the Miss Mayor would like it, we can outside of this meeting give them all the dates they want. If drop us an email, we can provide that. That's not a problem.
And from a pub's perspective, if we've done everything that we've been advised to do from the leading environmental health officer, from soundproofing to every spec, to every bit of soundproofing equipment, limiters and everything, what's gone so wrong? Can yourself or somebody come out and see? Because from our perspective, we can't do any more.
Yeah, we can. I guess that's not something for this meeting now, but we can. The case officer can come back out, or officers can come back and have a look. But ultimately, you don't have to play the music, so it's constantly on the limiter. You can play the music quieter, or the limiter might need to be adjusted. You might need to do further works, but obviously that's not necessarily something for this meeting now.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? From Ms. Maher? No? Okay, thank
No.
you. Thank you. All right. At this stage, I'd like to ask our legal officer to deal with any further queries she may have.
Thank you. Just to respond to Miss Mayer, because she has put in a noise limiter, because it was hoped that the noise limiter would and soundproofing would solve the problems. But what is coming out from environmental health is that it's not. And in terms of the incident on the 21st, as they've said, it wasn't from the individual they thought. But secondly, it was the officer's assessment on the 21st that the music was so loud that it constituted a statutory nuisance. And that's why they're thinking of taking a prosecution. So it may be a case that even though you've got a noise limiter, that the building's just not appropriate to have music if it's going to constantly cause your problems for you, and that's a matter that you can discuss with them. But it's Mr. Richardson is clearly saying that the officers are also witnessing noise, and they are assessing that it is a statutory nuisance. For licensing matters for this committee, it doesn't have to be a statutory nuisance. It can be a much lower nuisance. And that's why the members are asking questions as to whether this application can proceed without undermining the prevention of nuisance licensing objectives. So I just wanted to explain that, because Ms. Mayer wasn't sure why these applications or these objections are still being made. So I'm just clarifying that for her.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Do our governance officers have anything to add?
Nothing else to add from our end, Chair.
Thank you. We have reached the end of this meeting. The committee now has all the information needed. So we will retire to make our decision in private session. We will reconvene this hearing in 15 minutes to verbally announce our decision. A summary determination will also be sent to the parties within 5 working days. The full responded decision will also follow as soon as possible thereafter. When we return to live session, I will say, I confirm I am now reconvening the meeting, confirm the decision, and say thank you for attending. So yes, so see you all in 15 minutes. Thank you. Is everybody here?
Yes, it looks like everybody's here.
Cool. I confirm I'm now reconvening the meeting. In summary, the committee decided, after taking into account all individual circumstances of the case and the public safety and prevention of public nuisance licensing objectives, to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This notice means permission for the licensable activities requested in the temporary events notice has not been approved. All paperwork will go out to all parties as soon as possible. But thank you so much for attending today, everybody. That is it, the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.